Hi everybody, I'm here on vacation in Tahoe, but I just want to send this video in to help a lot of you, hopefully with some tips for opening your tour. The top end of a tour is really challenging because you have to establish authority but also welcome people into the museum and into the stories that you're telling. So here are some tips. First of all, if you talk too fast in the intro, everybody will be listening to you and they'll be really paying attention to you and you'll think that you're really great, but actually they might not be listening to you. I used to do that a lot, and it would basically make people not talk, and I thought that was great, but then I'd get questions based on information I'd already given. So you don't want to talk too fast in the intro. Now on the other extreme, if you are like not sure about what you're saying when you make the intro and you do a lot of ums and ahs, obviously that's going to disempower you too. One of the tricks to the intro for me is to look in everybody's eyes when they surround me. It's quite challenging, but I welcome everybody and I say to everybody as they surround me, hello, how are you? Welcome to the museum, hello. And that really kind of grounds them with me, and it makes them aware that I am watching, I have seen them. If people are talking to each other during my intro, I will actually pause and just acknowledge that they're talking while I'm doing my intro. Just pause, and then they'll acknowledge that I've paused, and then they'll pay attention. Those are powerful ways to assert authority. Really, literally demanding people listen to you by just looking at them. Couple of things about stillness versus movement. Okay, so one of the things about power is that if you move your head around a lot when you're talking, and you know you're like making points and stuff, and you're moving your head around a lot, it's very disempowering. It's very low status. You're totally losing power every time you move your head around. If you're really still and you talk with your head in a much more still fashion, you immediately have more authority. People with authority don't necessarily bob their head around that much. This is a powerful technique as well. Just try to stay as still as possible, but of course it doesn't have to be manufactured. You know, you can like loosen up a bit, but it's at the top. It's a good idea to do that. Never apologize for anything. Don't apologize if you're a woman. Don't apologize if you have an ethnicity. Don't apologize about the museum rules. Don't apologize about anything in the intro. The intro is about you telling the visitors, you're basically telling the visitors how it's going to be for the next hour, and you just need to be clear, still, focused, and communicating to everybody by trying to look at people. Okay, what else? Was there anything else that you wanted to
Don't assume.
Ah, yes. Some of you have had bad experiences with visitors that have made comments about your race or your gender. Now, unless you feel you have the agency to talk about those issues with the visitor and like facilitate a dialogue with them about it, I wouldn't recommend that actually if you are new to the museum. When you're a senior and you've learned tour and discussion and more dialogic processes, you know, you might be able to facilitate a comment that's race-based and turn it into a learning moment. But if you don't feel confident with that, that's completely okay. You know, it took me like 4 years to develop that ability. You know, just remember that 9 times out of 10 the visitor isn't really malicious. You know, if they are malicious, the tour's not about you. The tour's not about your race and your gender. The tour's about the families, you know, so bring it back to the families. And it's okay that this happens at the museum. You know, people make awkward comments. That's public history, dealing with the public, right? But try not to take it home with you. There's no point going home and obsessing about a visitor and what they said. It's probably going to happen to you. It's happened to me many times when I've obsessed about it. But you want to try to leave it at the end of the tour, try to let it go, you know, talk about it in the break room and try to let it go. There's no real, you know, 100% correct way to deal with somebody that makes a gender-based statement or a race-based statement that's slightly inappropriate. In time, when you have done many tours, I mean, speaking from my own experience, you instinctually develop an awareness of how to maintain your power in that situation. I speak directly to somebody that makes a comment like that, but I've been at the museum for a while. I'll just speak directly to the visitor about it, but the direct approach might not be the approach that's the best for everyone. It works for me with my persona. An example is, oh, you're an Indian, like, why are you giving this tour? And my answer would be along the lines of, oh, that's a really interesting comment, like, what is it about my ethnicity that makes you say that? It's very direct. It's a very direct way to approach it. I don't necessarily recommend that, but, maybe later on you might be able to try things like that. Anyway, I should wrap this up. I hope that was of some help. I hope you guys have a great meeting, and I'm so sorry that I won't be there, but keep on going, educators.